when we're thinking about our workplaces, the one thing that really contributes to culture is all of us.
Please welcome to the stage, Kate Cawthorn.
Craig, and hello everyone. Wow, it is bright up here. Okay, so we are talking about culture tonight, and the main thing that I think is pivotal and central to culture is people. And I think we can all agree that when we're thinking about our workplaces, the one thing that really contributes to culture is all of us and what we bring to that workplace, and our different personalities all mixed into that as well. And so when I'm thinking about culture and how we interact with that, I think about what makes us who we are as individuals. And that's where our strengths come in. So just as a matter of interest, I'm wanting to know, has anyone taken the CliftonStrengths assessment before? Yes, good, lots of people, excellent. So you know what I'm talking about. So our strengths are really who we are as individuals and what drives us, our motivators, and the things that really drive our values and the who we are on the inside. So this man that you can see on the screen behind me, this is Don Clifton, and his strengths are along the bottom of the screen here. So significance, futuristic, individualization, focus, and maximizer. And the quote that you can see on the screen here really is the cornerstone of what our strengths are all about. And there's a lot of backstory about Don Clifton and how he came to be so fascinated in strengths. But I think this quote here is really what is central to this at the moment, and what is the focus on what would happen if we study what's right with people versus what's wrong with them. And I think when we're looking at culture as well, especially in a workplace, that's something that's sometimes overlooked. We spend a lot of time looking at what are our values, what is our mission, what is our vision, and let's make sure that we get those things up on the wall, and overlook sometimes who are the people that contribute to those values and what do they have to bring to the table. And so that's why I think it's so important for us to have a real focus on our strengths as individuals. Now, Gallup is a research organisation. And so there has been a lot of research done into this assessment itself, but also a lot of teams, a lot of workplaces over more than 50 years have been using this tool to understand not only themselves, but also how these strengths contribute to how people interact and how they perform at work. And in 2019, just got my notes here, the State of the Global Workplace report from Gallup came back with some really, really interesting research and some statistics about how people are engaged at work. Now, would anyone like to hazard a guess, and unless you work for Gallup, anyone like to hazard a guess, what percentage of Australians would you say are actively engaged at work? Anyone want to call out some numbers? 20, 30%? 25? All right, we're pretty optimistic here in Australia. It's actually 14%. 14% of Australians are actively engaged at work. So to think about that, you've got to understand what actively engaged means. Actively engaged means that you love your job. You love going to work every day. You want to get up in the morning and go there and make a difference. So you're actively engaged. A disengaged employee is someone who's really not loving their job. They don't feel like they really want to be there, and they're not having a great time. Anyone want to guess the percentage of disengaged employees in Australia? 30? 50? We're still being very optimistic. It's 71% of disengaged employees in Australia. Now, there's another level here, and these are the actively disengaged employees. These are the ones that are a little bit toxic, and you've probably seen them around the workplace sometimes. These are the ones that don't love coming to work, and they will tell everyone about it, and they start to negatively influence everybody else in the workplace as well. These are the actively disengaged employees. Now, if you're good at maths, you can probably figure out that that's a pretty high number as well. So we know 14% are actively engaged, 71% are disengaged, and there are 23% of actively disengaged employees in Australia. It's a pretty scary statistic. So, and these stats came from the Q12 survey, which is a survey that Gallup do to measure employee engagement. And one of the questions in this survey is, at work, do you have the opportunity to do what you do best every day? And I think one of the main problems with this is that people don't actually know what it is that they do best. And so when we're thinking about our workplaces and how engaged we are at work, do we actually know the answer to that question ourselves? Do we know what it is that we do best every day? And that's where our strengths come in. So having the opportunity to understand what your own personal strengths are and how they contribute to your life as an individual, then once you know that, you can really answer that question honestly and truthfully. Then you know what you do best every day and you know how you can do that at work. Do you have the opportunity to do that? So this on the screen now is a formula to how you can develop your talents or your themes into strengths. So those of you that have taken the CliftonStrengths assessment, you will have, if you've just done your top 5, you'll have 5 words which come up as your talents or themes. And so talents are a natural way of thinking, feeling, or behaving. And if we take that talent and we multiply it by an investment, which is time spent practicing, developing your skills and building your knowledge base, so really understanding your strengths and really learning your talents and really learning how to apply those in those different areas of your life, then over time you start to develop a strength, which is the ability to consistently provide near perfect performance. So that's the ultimate aim, and that's what the strengths focus is. But back to this question, do you have the opportunity to do what you do best every day at work? So there are some ways that you can focus on what you do best every day. And on your tables, there is another piece of paper. It's got a picture of a man or a silhouette of a person in the center of the page. And there are 4 questions. It looks like this. It's called The Best of Us. So I'd love you each to grab that piece of paper, and if you can, grab your pen as well. There are 4 questions here. You can make a start on them tonight. You won't have time probably, unless you really know yourself very well, to get through all of those 4 questions. But the 4 questions are, you get the best of me when? So when you're thinking about that question, think about when you are at your best. Is it that you've had the opportunity to connect with people, you've had some great conversations and you've been able to connect with those around you in a relationship sort of way? Is it when you've had time to be able to think deeply about what it is that you need to do? You've had processing time, you've had the ability to be able to sit and think about your job so that you can then give your very best. What is it that you are in that sort of environment? When do you get the best of you? So have a think about that in that question. And the next one sort of flows on from that. You get the worst of me when? So what contributes to the worst side of you in the working environment? For me, it's when I haven't been able to have enough conversations with people. I am a relationship builder at heart. So I need to be able to say hi to people, have some fluffy conversations around the water cooler. Those sorts of things build me up. And so then I feel as though I'm able to then go into my job and do the very best that I can. So if I haven't had that, you will see the worst of me. The bottom 2 questions, you can count on me too. So what do you bring to your job that you know you're always going to bring that? And if somebody says, okay, we really need something done, will they come to you because they know that you're the person that can get that done? And the last question, this is what I need from you. So what do you know that you need from the people that you work with in order to do the best job that you can? What feeds you? What builds you up? What do you need other people to contribute to you being able to be the best that you are at work? So I'm going to give you a few minutes now to fill those in. I don't see everybody with their pens in their hands. So while you've been thinking about those questions, let's have a try at those and see how we go with that.
It's like being at school again, isn't it? Going to write a report card.
All right, so I've seen a couple of people have filled out their entire pages. Others are looking at what's on the menu for later. So the idea of this exercise has really been to help you understand a little bit more about yourself and really to know and think about what what is right with us when we're in the workplace? Thinking about ourselves as a team, what do we contribute to our workforce, our workplace culture? And how does knowing yourself deeply and knowing what you can contribute to that team and what you need from other people as well, what can you bring to the table? So the beautiful thing about looking at our strengths is that they're strengths. And that word weaknesses is not one that I like to use, but it's not something that we need to focus on when we're focusing on what we do best. And so that's the beautiful thing about that. And you can take those pages with you, complete them if you didn't get the opportunity to completely finish them tonight, and think about bringing that to your teams. Help them to understand what it is that's right with them, and you'll see the difference that it makes. Oh, very good question. My top 5 strengths are empathy, harmony, adaptability, developer, and intellection. 2 are the same. Very good. Thank you.